Good morning, everybody. You're not going to see me now. We're looking at 9 lion cubs sitting very close to the vehicle. This is Safari Live. It's a glorious day here in the Masai Mara. Possible rain, possibly wonderfully golden light coming up here. Good morning to you. I hope that you're all very well indeed. My name is James Henry. There's a lion cub sitting just 3 feet from the vehicle. And the reason I'm whispering is because if a lion cub gets too close to the vehicle, it's not, of course, the cub that the lionesses are going to blame, but the vehicle. So I was just very nervous when we started, because they approached us from a long way off and sat right next to us. Anyway, here we are with the Black Rock Pride. Beautiful sighting, spectacular stuff. It's wonderful to have you with us. Like I say, Sebastian is on camera for his second foray into the Masai Mara. Out on drive, it's Djuma. We think Tristan is getting ready. Also, of course, we have Taylor and Scott out a little bit later. Please ask us your questions if you'd like to. Hashtag Safari Live is how you get hold of us on Twitter. Otherwise, you can use the comment section of the YouTube broadcast. It'll be lovely to have your questions and your comments. There's just a vehicle behind us. I thought it was full of rangers. It isn't, so don't worry about that. We're absolutely fine to keep on looking at the magnificence of the Black Rock Pride. Now, there is a lioness, not a lioness, a lion, a male, calling over the back of this lot. I'm just going to try and prevail upon this fellow behind us to turn his engine off and stop driving around like he's in a rally. I see that there are a number of vehicles coming here. Sorry about the noise, everyone. I'm not sure why he doesn't switch off. Now, while we're looking here, I must just tell you that yesterday we saw the one-eyed male lion of the Black Rock Coalition, and I called him Old One Eye and the Pirate and all sorts of other things like that. But the thing to remember is that he does actually have a name, and a number of you have told me his name. His name is Bena, B-E-N-A. Sorry, I'm just going to have to Seb, won't you just turn on and ask this guy to turn his car off? There we go. Well done, Seb. Nice job. This is just magnificent. I know that you couldn't hear it too much. It was starting to irritate the life out of me when I was watching this magnificent scene going on here. There we go. Now we've got all the cars off. It's fantastic. There are 3 of us here enjoying this magnificent sighting. Look at them on the rocks, and if the sun breaks through here, it's going to be very special indeed. Now these cubs are being very naughty. They're approaching us, and I don't think that's a great thing, because they must learn to stay away from vehicles. Cheryl, you said, did the cubs get to eat anything? Now, of course, I've been rather remiss in telling you what happened last night. The mothers killed a wildebeest. They're now up again. They've spotted something. It could easily be the male. Cheryl, I don't think so, no. I think what happened was that they finished the kill and came across here. I wonder where they're going. Let's let them walk out of frame. Here come a number of the little cubbies. They might be going back to the original den site. There is some beautiful light now falling on the top of that rock where the last of the cubs are. Not sure why they'd be leaving. Anyway, we'll keep watching and following and seeing. It's possible that one of the males has come in here. Did I sufficiently tell you what happened last night? They killed a wildebeest of the sort of returning migration herds, if you like. And I think by the time we left it at about 9 o'clock, they'd almost finished the carcass. So I don't think they took the cubs there. I think they probably just brought the food back in the form of milk. Still more coming along the top of the rocks. We're just going to let them all go past us before we move. It's just too cute, isn't it? Look at the way they move. And these guys still too little to be making those calls, those loud growlings, or those very sweet growling calls. They're still making little squeaks. Alrighty, I think we can probably move now. Now we're going to keep our distance, obviously. Seem to have lost the brakes. Anyway, luckily we're not driving very quickly. There we go. I'm really not sure why they got up and decided to move. And I know that the signal is a little bit dodgy in this area, so if we do have the odd black screen, I'm sorry about that. Of hammerkops flying over there. Sorry, Seba, it's really nasty of me to just say that and then not tell you where they were. Anyway, they've gone now. They sometimes go down into the sort of drainage system here and have a rest. Chastity, you say, what's been my favourite pride in the Mara? I think this one, unquestionably. I've never seen 9 lion cubs together, and to have experienced them over, the course of last week. We spent 3 days with them every single drive. I'm hoping to do that. Are going to have, I must just tell you that I'm not sure we're going to be able to do this again this week, because we're making a few technical changes which will eventually result in things being better, but I'm not sure how much time we're going to have to be able to spend with them from today for a week or so. Anyway, we're going to enjoy this, and I just think that spending time with 9 cubs like this and their 3 lionesses is just too special. So the Black Rock Pride gets my vote as my favourite pride of the Mara so far. We've spent time with the Salas Pride, the Angamas, the Sausage Pride, the Magoro Pride, of course, the Paradise Pride, but I think these guys remain my favourite. I mean, one cannot but be absolutely astonished by the sweetness of these little things. Alright, we're going to try and keep up with these cubs and their mothers, see what they do, get a decent view. While we do that, Scott Dyson has managed to penetrate the barrier into the Mara Triangle. He is drifting gently down the hill, and he'd like to tell you all about it now.
Hello, yes, we did manage to break through the gate into the reserve. The guards are a little bit late this morning, but that's all good. Everything happens for a reason out here, and hopefully them being slightly delayed will mean we bump into a lion or a leopard crossing the road at the exact right time. My name's Scott Dyson. I'm teamed up with Manu on camera and looking forward to another beautiful morning exploring the Mara with you. The safari's clearly already got off to a great start, with the Migration Control Officer James Hendry having relocated what is swiftly becoming his pride of lion. He spent many an hour with them and clearly has become quite attached to them. As he said, it's his favorite pride. I've yet to see them, other than the little clips that I get to watch when we get back from the safaris. Always nice to watch what you guys get to see while we are out and about, searching for things for you. Wonderful. I think my my plans this morning are to head along the Mara River to some of the crossing points. There's been a decent amount of crossing action lately, and even though we have river cams, it would be quite nice to be able to document one of the crossings from kind of two slightly different angles, and also be able to show you what happens after the wildebeest, topi or Thompson's gazelle or zebra manage to exit the water. So that is the plan, and if we don't have any luck there, we may swing past an area where there's or at least about a week ago she was last seen, a female cheetah with 4 tiny little cubs. We haven't been able to see her since then, but I think 1 or 2 of the guides that work this area have been lucky enough to, so that would be a plan B if the river doesn't produce us with anything interesting. Most wonderful. Well, you are now going to meet your 3rd safari guide, who will be taking you around the Mara this morning. So why don't you go and ask Taylor what her plans are for the morning.
I suppose one day we should really develop a technique like that, where we can broadcast to, we're not allowed to say deaf anymore, are we? People who are hard of hearing, if you like, or hearing impaired, that's the word that we use now. That would actually be wonderful and probably very important. Anyway, Taylor did that there with sign language, meaningless sign language, I'm sure, to link back to us. And here we have these magnificent cubs again. We've done a little shifty around, and they seem to be having a nice little sort of play and leap around the bases of all these little bushes. And hopefully this, oh dear, one of them's now chasing a car full of rangers as it disappears. That's very, very naughty. You don't want that when they weigh 220 kilograms. Ham Pit, is that the name? Ham Pit? Ham Pit? If it is, I'm sorry about that. Oh, Hampus. Hampus, you want to know if the male lions are more protective of this pride because there are so many cubs? No, I don't think they are at all. I think that they would behave in the way that they do normally. I will say, though, I think you'll find that there are so many prides in this area, and I think their territories are relatively small, and I think that the male lions often probably only dominate 1 or 2 prides as opposed to, say, 3 or 4 sometimes, which you might have in a place like Djuma, and therefore they spend more time around the youngsters and the females, and therefore by default they will protect them from marauding other males because they just happen to be around more. That's my guess, because I think the Black Rock Pride, at least the Black Rock Coalition, which includes Benna the one-eyed pirate, I think that they look over this pride, and I'm not sure how many others actually, maybe another one to the east. But I think there are separate males who look after the Salas pride. Yeah, these guys are having the best time. And that sun, I'm afraid, has been cut short of its magnificence by the very thick blanket of cloud. We had rain last night, which is not that common. You know, those afternoon storms are common. In fact, they're almost as predictable as a very predictable thing, and it stopped raining yesterday afternoon. We thought that was it, and then it did rain last night, and the clouds have remained. don't even know where to look here. Everything is rather cute. All right, Scott has managed to find his first magnificent sighting today, the birds that have things in the back of their heads.
Yes, they certainly do have feathery things poking out the back of their skulls, these secretary birds, and what a beautiful view it is. With a little bit of low-lying mist in and around the valleys of the Mara River. And some secretary birds, a monogamous couple who live in this area. We see them very often. And I'm hoping that one day we are going to see them not only feeding on insects like we can see them feeding on now, but possibly a snake. And today might just be that day. The reason being is we got a deluge of rain yesterday evening, and we often find that after heavy rains, especially going into the summer, which we are here in Kenya, you can expect quite a few serpents to be slithering about. That, as well as insects, so they're going to have a lot of extra prey in theory today. And who knows, even if we don't get to see a secretary bird trying to eat a snake, just seeing a snake doing its business unpestered would also be a wonderful way to spend the morning. They do just have the most bizarre feathers sticking out their heads. How cool is that? Oh, Lynn, I'm very happy to hear that you love watching these birds. So do I. Manu and I had a credible sighting, I think with these two probably, a couple of weeks back, where we were parked in a low angle, and they were very, very close to us in perfect sunlight. We got some fascinating shots of them. I love the way they mince their legs through the grass trying to flush any possible prey. And then they'll use those same long legs to, boom, there we go, to give it a quick wallop. They've got a very accurate stomp maneuver that is going to be disabling their prey. Oh, look at that view of its head. Perfect. Kind of like marching on the spot. Hi, Geordie. You'd like to know what is the greatest threat to a secretary bird in terms of predators that may consume them? I've never heard of or seen of any predators eating a secretary bird, but of course it would have happened at some point. And, you know, the likely suspects would be animals like serval, caracal. They may pounce on a secretary bird if it comes close to them. Maybe even a leopard would catch one. I'm sure that would have happened at some point. Then possibly some very large eagles, you know, maybe a martial eagle. But once they're fully grown, I'm guessing they don't have a huge amount of threats in terms of predators. It'll be when they're youngsters and chicks in the nest, when just about anything can feed on them once they're in the nest. Baboons will eat baby birds, snakes, monitor lizards. So I think it's in their infancy that they're going to be... Have you seen all these flies here, Manu? Can you focus on them? It's quite a cool scene. Morning. We've got some fellow safari goers with us. Wonderful. Now these could be, I called them flies, but they could actually be little mapani bees. Oh no, they don't look like mapani bees. Some kind of what we call in South Africa a michi, which basically just covers the bases of any small flying insect. Very good. Okay, off we go, and off you go back to James and his cute little cubs.
They are cute little cubs, everybody. I'm going to have to excuse myself briefly. I ate something. One second. There is a male close by, and I think they're going to go and see him. Sorry about this. I apologize profusely. Okay, we can go. We are going to do a little social media action broadcast. Good morning, everybody watching on whatever social media platform you happen to be on, especially Nat Geo Wild, I believe. Today, we're sitting here with the Black Rock Pride. My name is James Henry. We're in live from the Masai Mara. Seb is on camera. We've got 9 cubs here. There's a lot of information I'm giving you, and 3 females, and there's a male calling just behind us. And we're hoping that this lot are going to go from here towards the male over there. Let's just watch their sort of cuteness factor for the next little while, and then we might go and try and find the male and see if the lionesses don't take these little cubs towards the male lions. That is often one of the most magnificent things to see in the wild, a male lion with little babies. See, she's looking up towards them. And these are the males of the Black Rock Coalition, and so they are part of the group that fathered these cubs. Now you just keep watching the cubs. I'm looking sort of behind us to see. There he is. He's there. You see him there, Seb? Here he comes. There he is, marking his territory. There are 3 males in this coalition, one of them extremely obvious by the fact that he is missing his left eye. His name is Benna, the one with the missing eye. This chap that I don't think has a name. And as I've said before, he has a mane not unlike that of Ron Burgundy, if you happen to watch that ridiculous film, The Anchorman. A salon quality hair is what this beautiful male lion's got now. The lionesses will be slightly wary of having him around the cubs, but not terrified. They can be a little rough with the youngsters, because the youngsters, being youngsters, can be very boisterous. And the males, well, like old males all over the place, I suppose, can be a little bit impatient. Now, Megan, you're wondering if a male lion can tell which babies he fathered and which ones he didn't. No, I don't believe that he can at all. It's an interesting thing. Let's just go back to the cubs. It's an interesting thing that the kind of fathering of youngsters through coalitions of males, they seem to understand that all of these cubs are related to them, all of the males within the coalition. The coalition is most likely brothers, or certainly cousins, that left the pride of their birth together. And one of them will have fathered, not all of these, I don't think all of them would have been fathered by one male lion, and I don't believe that the male that fathered, say, the cub there walking up on the left, knows that that's his baby. And I sometimes don't believe that the mothers know that either. They cross-suckle their youngsters, and I think it's to the benefit of the cubs and the pride as a whole if the mothers don't know which ones are theirs and which ones aren't eventually, because, of course, then it means that they won't show any favoritism when they suckle. Now, the male's just walking off, he's disappearing. But the cubs continue to play oblivious of any danger. It's just so wonderful to see how mammal behavior is so the same around the place, because, of course, the female's up and wary, the youngsters completely oblivious to any danger at this stage of their lives. Now, I will tell you, if you were watching yesterday evening during our action broadcast, these lionesses killed a wildebeest yesterday evening. The migration herds have turned round back out of the Serengeti, and they've come up into the Masai Mara, and they killed a wildebeest around about 7:30 yesterday evening. I think they finished it and then came back to suckle the cubs sometime this morning. There's a little one practicing his killing skills on a very old wildebeest. Yes, I mean, I know many human parents who would allow their children to do that kind of eating on an old bone like that, but disgusting. Shamson, you're wondering at cubs start phlegm and grimacing. For those of you who don't know, that means you see horses do it, you see snakes do it, you see lions do it, you see lots of different animals doing phlegm and grimacing. So they sort of flip their top lips up in like this. Yes, that's what they do. And what it does is it opens up a tract to an organ halfway between the brain and the nose called the vomeronasal organ, or the organ of Jacobson, and it interprets hormonal signals or pheromonal signals. And Shamsan wants to know when the cubs start doing that. Shamsan, I expect it's almost immediately. I mean, I haven't seen them doing it, obviously. I've seen the mothers doing it when sniffing the youngster's urine, so testing it for whatever it is that they're testing it. I'm not sure what that would be, but I haven't seen the cubs obviously doing it. I don't know when the vomeronasal organ becomes functional in a young lion, but I suspect it's almost immediately. We don't have that anymore, everybody. That vomeronasal organ is entirely vestigial in human beings, and it's why our noses, while some of us think we have sensitive senses of smell, are really nothing like as sensitive as animals. Now, we're going to leave you on this action broadcast on social media to get on with your day, so I hope you enjoyed this little interlude. I also hope that you will join us again. We will be sure to go live should any action start to unfold here. We'll see you soon. All right, everybody, thank you very much for that. We're going to go across to Scott now with some playful topi as we look at the array of balloons floating across the sky in the direction of the great Scott Dyson.
Well, that sounded like a wonderful, wonderful sighting with James, and we've also stumbled upon some cuteness. There's a whole bunch of little tiny topi, all of which are probably only a few days old. It seems like within the last few days, a lot of them have dropped their calves. And something interesting that I've noticed since the calves have been born, the adults are doing this kind of strange posturing. Let's keep an eye on this guy on the left. Oh, he's holding his head up proudly. Maybe it's the fact that he's a proud father of all these little babies. Having said that, that's a female, so that's not going to work. You can see her mammary glands between her legs there. But they are doing this kind of, maybe they're just proud mothers, where they hold their heads up and do like a kind of a slow, ritualistic walking maneuver until they start kind of running around like a dressage pony, lifting their knees high into the air as they run. And I'm hoping they're going to do that again for us. A little bit of movement to start off with is always a good sign. So let's see if we don't see any more of this interesting behavior. It tends to happen when one topi and its calf kind of approaches another one. So let's see here. I'm guessing we may just get lucky. What's this one on the left going to do? Let's see here. I hope they do it. It's the weirdest kind of thing. They hold their horns back towards their spine, lifting their nose into the air, and then start prancing around very proudly. Come on. No joy. No joy. Hello, Jared's buddy. You'd like to know if these are the same topi we saw last night? No, this is not the same herd. We're in quite a different area. And there was only one youngster that was very, very newborn. Its umbilical cord was still wobbly, whereas these all seem possibly a few days older. And like I say, quite far from here. Ah, breakfast time. Now, Jared's buddy, on another topic, I saw you posted a message on my Instagram account saying that you've started IDing the cheetah that we see, and that's absolutely wonderful news, and thank you very much for that, especially the Musketeer Coalition. You said that you've worked out who's who there, and that's very, very useful for all of us, and you suggested we should name them. I think what we need to do is actually just chat with the researchers and see what names they've got. I think even the researchers may just number them, and I think it makes sense that we follow suit, even if we do use numbers. It's just a way for us to distinguish one from another, and I think the Musketeer Coalition are into the 70s with one cheetah researcher. I think I remember her calling them, this is 72 and that's 73. Oh, there goes a falcon flying through the screen. Some kind of a... Oh, nice, Manu. What on earth is that? They ambushed him. Let's just see. It may actually find some prey. Oh, I thought it was chasing something there, but it wasn't. It just seems like it's maybe late for work. Now... It could have been a goshawk. Oh, is it chasing something into the trees? Oh, what's happening? It is chasing. No ways. Come on, get your breakfast, please. It'll be a first. Oh, come back towards us. Yes. I'm not sure what it's chasing. It could be a starling. Oh, well done, Manu. You did so well to keep with it, but I think it disappeared to the right. Keep going to the right, I think. Where has it gone? Yeah, it's somewhere in those trees in the center of your screen. It's farther. I just got a glimpse. To the right. There. Is that it? Still going? Or is that something else? No, you're on it there. That's a goose going off there. Oh well, that was a first, and that was absolutely epic, because to be able to see predatory birds hunting is something which is very, very difficult for obvious reasons, because we cannot fly alongside them, and they move huge distances very quickly. But we almost saw, I'm fairly certain, our first predatory avian assault. I'm just going to have a quick scan with my binoculars and see if... I can't work out where it has gone. That was so epic. Well done, Manu. And that was definitely a first for me. It was right on the edge of the lens, and obviously flying behind trees doesn't make it easier. And it was very, very far away. But we almost saw that falcon or goshawk or whatever it was collect its breakfast on the wing. Most wonderful. Okay, well, we're going to continue on heading towards the Mara River, and you are also going to be heading south, a lot further down though, all the way to South Africa, to catch up with Mr. Byron Serrao, who has been off and away from Safari Live for a few days, so I'm sure all of you are looking forward to seeing him.
Good morning, everyone. We have just got to Twin Dams, and I thought we'd come have a look around here to see if we could find a leopard. Unfortunately, no luck just yet. My name is Byron, and on camera with me this morning is VM. And we do apologize for our delay this morning. We had some technical issues. It seemed that the much wanted rain didn't do our equipment any good at all. It's good for the land, but not for the equipment. Anyway, we are live, so we're going to see what we can find this afternoon or this morning. See, I need to get back into it. It's great to be back on Safari Live. I've been away for a while, but always wonderful to come back. So VM and I are going to try to see if we can find a leopard this morning. Now, I know Tristan had that wonderful sighting of Tingana, that male leopard, that big dominant male leopard in the area. He had him yesterday, and there was, he had 2 kills. So I'm assuming that he's probably still going to be in that area. So we're going to go and head over there and try to see if we can find him this morning. See what else. I heard lions early this morning there were some lions calling, and they were around. I know Tristan managed to bump into the Nkahuma Pride last night on his way back to camp. We had a look around. It sounded as if they were moving off of our property this morning, and then we just, as we stopped here, we heard some lions calling, but to our south. So on Little Gowrie, not on our property, but you never know, they could be moving around. It's still fairly cool. It's a beautiful, beautiful, clear morning. So maybe we have some luck with lions later. Let's get going. I'm going to head towards that area where that male leopard was, and see if we can find him. And apparently a lot of you saying you're excited I'm back. Thank you very much. Finally, I was meant to be back on Monday, but for my sins, I drive a Land Rover, and it gave me problems, obviously. Anyway, I'm here now, so let's have some fun. Let's go across to Taylor, who I haven't seen for ages. She's up in the Mara. I hope she's doing well. Let's go and see how her morning is going.
My dear friend Byron, it's so good to have you back, and I'm so glad that you made it back to the Sabi Sands all in one piece. But I suppose it's the choice of car that you drive. Anyways, my name is Taylor. Let's try this again. And on camera with me today is the fantastic, technical, handsome Ferg. We'll just go with it today. We'll just go with that. But of course, as you can see, we're sitting surrounded by lions at the moment, and hot air balloons too. Now, earlier I was speaking a little bit of sign language. You may have just seen me waving my arms around. And well, that was because I was telling you how I thought I'd sent the gremlins away in the hot air balloon. That did not happen because it was apparently a couple left in the car that I missed. But we seem to have things under control now. It's good to have a good sense of humour. Now, quite interesting, I just want to update you quickly as to what actually has happened. So the Angama Pride were trying to hunt some Cape buffalo. Now, we know that around this Lugger, the area that they live, there are big herds of buffalo around here. The grazing is relatively good, and also they can go up towards the forest and the escarpment for shelter if there are any heavy rains or very windy. And anyways, the Ngama's tried to catch a buffalo, but the tables turned once again. I feel like these poor cats get chased by more buffalo than they eat. Ooh, look at that lioness. Ferg, can you see her injury on the back of the one that's on the termite mound? So I've just seen that. That looks relatively fresh. I wonder if that didn't happen now. Maybe they did try and attack a buffalo and jump onto it, and unfortunately she got a horn to the hind quarter. But it doesn't look like it's too bad. She didn't seem to be limping at all. It's just a little flesh, superficial wound, and will probably heal up within a couple of weeks. This is so cool, though. I absolutely love watching lions with the hot air balloons, and you can see that the youngsters, the sub-adults here, are mesmerized by the balloon in the sky, and I'm sure also the sounds that are coming from it. But we'll stick around for a little bit and see if they get excited and want to chase something else. Scott, however, it sounds like he's got a small scavenger.
Yes, we have not only one, but two small scavengers. Two black-backed jackal. They've just laid down in the grass, and this is the kind of general area where we are under serious attack here. Come and have a look here, Manu. We're in an area where they possibly do have a den site. Manu has been here before with Taylor, so we're just going to stick around and see if there's any pups that poke their head out. Look at all these little bugs here. I mean, and they're not flies, it's a kind of an ant, and I think they're biting me. They are. They're biting me. I thought I felt something earlier, and I thought it was my fleas that had come back, and I've literally got these things all over me. They've climbed up into my clothes and shirt, and I may have to do a strip show to be able to remove all of them, but I'm not going to do that because that won't be fair for all of you to have to witness that unexpectedly. But look at all these little things. Looks like they're making love. There's a lot of love making going on here. So there's a bit of an orgy and a feast. They're feasting on me and making love in between. Look at all these little creatures. What are you? Anyway, at least it's not the fleas again. I think we need to keep moving, try and leave these guys behind us in the wind. I've never had an attack from these little beasts before. I've never actually seen them before. Manu, as a local Kenyan, do you know, have you seen? Also hasn't seen these. What's interesting is that the males seem to be a different color to the females. I'm guessing it's the males who are climbing on top of the females. The males are kind of more blackish in color, dark color, and the females are a lighter kind of caramel toffee color. Hi, Abby, you'd like to know if these are termites, reproductives? No, I don't think so, because reproductive termites, as far as I'm aware, don't bite you. So I don't have a clue what these little things are. Shee! But they are everywhere. I mean, look at how many there are. There's just like billions around my head. I don't know if Mano can pick them up on the camera, but... Shoo! Ah! Okay, we're going to drop the clutch and try to leave these guys behind us and send you across to James, who's still with those cubs.
I'm amazed by how bugs like that are able to keep up with the car once you have dropped the clutch. I suspect it's got quite a lot to do with the lack of friction the air imposes on them on account of their very small size. Now, we are indeed still with the cubs. Oops, sorry about that. I hit a bit of a tussock. Here they are, playing in a little sort of depression of mud and water, as all children like to do. And they've started to irritate the lionesses. They've started to try and suckle en masse, lots of them together. And what's that's caused is a deep sense of irritation. And now the lionesses keep getting up and moving away from them so that they can't be sort of inundated with requests for milk. The lioness is still looking in the direction of where the male went. I don't see him anywhere. They may well be able to smell or sense or hear him. Oh, you know what they're looking at? There's a very large herd of wildebeest across the way. Nubia, you're wondering about how many cubs a lioness can have in a litter. Nubia, apparently the record is somewhere around 8. But it would be extremely unlikely that a lioness could ever raise anything close to that number. Normally 3 is about the maximum that they're able to look after. And in terms of birth, somewhere between 2 and 4 would be the average. Sometimes as many as 6, but 2 and 4 would be the average. You can hear the Cape turtle doves calling in the background. And these cubs are just having the best time. Very clever of the lionesses to bring them down to this sort of muddy depression where they can play rather than harass them for food. Distracting them very cleverly. Now, I suspect what will happen here today is that the lionesses will eventually get sick and tired of the cubs and move away, not necessarily to hunt or to do anything, but just so that they can have some peace. And the cubs will then go into the den. Either that, or the cubs will eventually settle after this playtime and go to sleep, and then the lionesses will be allowed to do the same, because that, of course, is what lionesses like to do, isn't it? Fantastic stuff. I can sense a slight sort of calming down of the youngsters. Anna Marie, I agree with you completely. You say you love the cubs when they're so frisky in the morning. They are just fantastic. You could sit and watch them all day long. It would not be hard, it would not be a trial. That's very, very sweet. Please excuse the vehicle noises. There's something that looks not unlike my beaten-up Opel Astra bringing somebody on safari. Soraya, oh look, they're going up the rock. Soraya, you say, do they still have their milk teeth? Yes, I think they do. I think they have them until about 3 months or so. Look at the one falling down there. This is fantastic. Mama Lion has managed to find herself a little puddle of water on the top there. Now it would be wonderful, of course, if the sun would come out right behind them, but I'm afraid it's the wrong side of them. Still, that's quite an interesting shot, isn't it? Morning Glory, you are asking a question that should perhaps be asked of someone like Stefan, who is a trained geologist. You say, what kind of material is this black rock made of? You say, it's volcanic. Yes, I would agree with you there. But what is it? I think it's just granite. I don't think that there's much else in it. So the granite, of course, can be made of lots of different kinds of minerals. But I think you'd find it was granite and silica, largely. But I really couldn't tell you. I mean, that is a wild guess. Interestingly, of course, we are between the Great Rift Valley and the Western Rift Valley, which means that this area is tectonically unstable. And it means that this rock was probably spewed forth from the bowels of the earth. How's that for an early morning saying, Seb? Spewed forth from the bowels of the earth relatively recently. I quite like that, Seb, spewed forth from the bowels of the earth. I may use it again. I think we should take a chance and go around the other side. What do you think? I'm just going to ask these good people in front of us to duck. Okay, we're going to go around the rock there. Let's head across to Taylor, who seems to be now using her words to communicate.
I use my hands to communicate too. I use my words, and well, I was trying to communicate with the midges that were flying around me. I'm bothering the lions and bothering all the people who are watching the lions. But I just spray sunblock at them. It didn't work. I think that might be the pheromone of a female midge, because they were also mating on me. I'm having a great day today, as you can imagine. It's wonderful out here, but at least the weather's good. There's not a breath of wind. The sun is coming out. It is going to be lovely and warm, and I think the lions are going to enjoy that. They look hungry, though, so I'm really excited. I reckon if we sit here for long enough, maybe they're going to try again. I've heard whispers in the wind about the Angama pride and how they actually enjoy hunting, sort of in mid-morning. So from between 9 and 12 is often when they make a second attempt, if they have been attempting throughout the evening and the early morning, which is quite exciting. So it just goes to show you, for those of you who are new and have just joined and started watching Safari Live, you probably heard the old wives' tale that lions only hunt at night. Now, that's not true, and hopefully we're going to be able to witness that and then actually just show you and put that myth to rest. But it is lovely. They just poised beautifully. That lioness that has got the injury on her leg, you can see, even though she is injured, it's not stopping her scanning around looking for something to go for. These poor mothers in this pride have got a huge responsibility. They've got lots and lots of hungry youngsters, and they need to, well, keep fit too and keep healthy, because if they don't, then they can't provide for their little ones, and then their little ones probably won't make it to adulthood. I don't think lions are as sort of resilient and, well, able to survive as well as leopards in terms of, for example, look at Kruger, the unfortunate disappearance of her, leaving her two young cubs, well, relatively young age, and they've made it through doing quite well. So that's quite exciting. But lions, not so much. Now, okay, well, let's very quickly go across to Scott and have one last look at his lions.
Well, this is going to be the first and last glimpse you get of what was 3 lioness disappearing into a thicket and a nice big male following them. He is probably one of the Bilashaka males, judging from the area that we're in. And he's following his ladies and scent marking as he goes. Interesting that Taylor's also getting attacked by what she says are midges. I'm glad she knows what they are. It's the first time I've seen these little horrible beasts. They are either biting or stinging me, and I may have to adopt Taylor's sun cream technique to try and keep them at bay. And hopefully not only the insects are going to be out and about after the rain there, you can see a lioness just beyond him, but also some snakes, I'm hoping. As I said earlier, I've only seen one decent snake sighting since I've been here. It was a black spitting cobra. They are very sinister looking snakes. Shiny black scales and quite a big body for a cobra. But there are also quite a few snakes that occur here. Puff adders, pythons, a whole long list. So with a little bit of luck we'll be able to start identifying and showing you some of these serpents in the warming summer months that we are heading into. Marvellous. Well, seeing as though our views are not very good at the moment and Taylor's lions are still in a good spot, I think it makes sense that you go back to her.
Well, thank you very much, Scott. And listen, I don't know if I am going to stand by my words and say that the spraying sunscreen technique works. I wouldn't do it because I feel like I was bitten more. They retaliated against me. I think maybe just the hand swatting technique works the best. But I can't believe these lions aren't running around and throwing their toys out of the cot, because if I wasn't bound to the car, that's exactly what I'd be doing. I'd be racing away from these midges. But unfortunately, we're going to see the insect life. Not unfortunately, fortunately, because insects are wonderful and to have around. There's some beautiful ones, but with all the rain that we've had, they're going to be in abundance at the moment, and that's going to annoy the buffalo, the wildebeest, the zebra, the lions, the leopards, even the jackals, all the different animals out here, which can be a little bit on the frustrating side, but they seem to be not too bothered at the moment. I wish you were all sitting here with me. It is honestly so lovely out here. And it's not often that we get days where there's literally not a breath of wind. I can't even see the grass moving at the moment. It is so still out here. But the girls are moving around, a couple of them. I'm just going to look behind me. I just want to see where they're going. I can't see any more prey around. The buffalo, the herd, wasn't a particularly big herd. They're not too far away, a couple of 100 meters back towards the north. Maybe they make a second attempt on them. We know the buffalo during the heat of the day often like to sit down, ruminate, just take a breath, have a little nap. So maybe they'll try again. There's also the odd eland hanging around in between the shrubs. There's herds of zebra, not too many wildebeest, but they could definitely go for one of those. I would wish we just got here in time to see those buffalo chasing that lion. It would have been nice to know exactly what had happened, if it was indeed the buffalo that gave that lioness an injury. You can see the other girls staring across. Just trying to see. Sorry, I apologize. The camera shakes. It's me shifting. Where are they going? Behind the tree and behind the shrubs where I can't see. Oh, they are walking off into the distance again. Right. I think something's materializing here. We're going to try and have a look and see where these lionesses go. They are leaving the cubs behind, the ones you can't see. James has got very cute cubs playing about. Let's go watch them.
They are playing about, and we were just noticing, Seb and I, not those two, but there's one to the right-hand side coming in now. I think a little male, and he's smaller than the others, but he's vicious. He's a very aggressive little thing. You can see he's slightly paler, and he slaps the others around the face, bites them, pushes his ears right back, and you can hear them yelling at each other. It's them and the ones that are trying to suckle just above them on the rocks. There they are. Isn't that sound fantastic? These poor long-suffering lionesses, all they want, just like many long-suffering mothers I know, is for their youngsters to go to sleep so that they can have a brief respite. Oh! Bottom! There's a big tackle onto the rock there. Yeah, there's a little male. Yeah, Michael, I'm sure it does vary slightly, but not hugely. Michael's interested in whether or not the nutritional needs of the cubs vary from cub to cub, or if they're the same. The sun is now coming out really nicely. Michael, I think they're probably very similar. But, you know, I'm sure that there is physiological difference. I think human beings probably vary a lot more. So we know that, of course, some of us are blessed with physiologies that, you know, allow us to remain slim our whole lives. Some of us are blessed with physiologies that mean that we have to watch what we eat when we get to a certain age, and sometimes from the beginning. I think the variation that you see in human beings doesn't really exist amongst animals like lions, because of course they don't live in habitats as varied as us. And so I think you'll find the nutritional needs and their response to nutrition is probably very uniform in comparison with human beings, but it would be slightly different amongst individuals. I always find comparing the human side of things with the animal side of things fascinating, because of course we are so varied as a species. And with the movement of human beings around the world, all of those little evolutionary and environmental adaptations that we have as a human species are now mixed in to the greater whole. And so I'm just trying to think of an obvious one. Well, you'll probably find that people from northern climes, very northern climes, are more likely to lay on layers of fat than people from, say, this part of the world, from Africa, from this part of Africa, where people are generally tall and quite thin. And, you know, the mix of those people in with people from northern climes of northern Europe has resulted in people that don't really understand, don't really understand, but in slightly confused physiologies, you know, because our diets don't represent anything like what we evolved to eat. And so that's why we have these strange responses or different responses to nutrition that we do as human beings. And I just find that sort of thing fascinating. The balloons are floating off in the distance there, and I think there's a very, very gentle wind today. They don't seem to be moving much. They just seem to be suspended there. And in between the balloons that Seb's showing you and where Taylor and Scott are, I think there's rain. David and Napa, you want to know if this rock stays warm throughout the day. I don't know how warm it would be now. I'll tell you what though, I can tell you exactly how warm it is. I'm just going to shuffle around a bit. Don't go anywhere, everybody. I'm going to steal our thermal camera from Sebastian, and then what I'll do is I'll point it at the lions and point it at the rock, and then I will be able to tell you if the rock is still warm, because at night absolutely it's warm, but during the day I'm not sure. I mean, obviously it will get warm once the sun gets on it, but there hasn't been any sun on it yet, so it'd be interesting to know if it maintains that heat throughout the night. Give me 1 second and then I'll show you. I've just got to plug it in. 2 plugs, not just one, obviously. Why would they make 1 plug? How would they make it easy? Don't be silly. Righty, switch on the monitor so that I can show it to you, more accurately so that Seb can show it to you. Alright, righty.
When you're ready.
I will tell you when I'm ready, and I'll try and put it in a position that you can actually see it. That's going to be a disaster because it'll be in the sun. Let me bring it around this side. Oh, shut up. Alright, now I'm facing the camera at the rock. The rock is still warm, but it's not nearly as warm as the cats. So, Seba, can you just tell me if you can see that?
Okay, let's try.
Let me put it over here. Let me put it where its original spot is, and then I can... Sorry, this is a little bit awkward, everybody, but it is not a request we have very often. Okay. Can you see it there? Or was it disastrous? How's that?
Yeah, that will work, yes.
Okay. Sorry, 1 second. There we are. Okay, so you can see there the lines of that sort of white colour, or bright yellow, and the orange is the rock. So the rock is warmer than the surrounding bush, you can see that. But it's not hot. It's not nearly as hot as it was yesterday evening. That's really very interesting. Thank you for that question. Fascinating stuff. Get rid of this thing before I destroy it while we drive. Now the sun is out, and so sleep is coming to the lions of the Black Rock Pride, to the merciful relief of the lionesses, whose 9 demanding little youngsters are getting tired now. Look, the sun is going to have the same effect on us, I suspect. This is very, very sweet. Penny, I don't think they do. You say, you say there's so many cubs. How do the mothers know when one goes missing right away? I don't think they do. I think it takes them a while to figure out that someone's missing, and I think that's how they do go missing. You know, these lionesses will walk off, assume the cubs are following, see 2 or 3 following, and I don't think they pay a huge amount of attention, and one can easily get lost off the edge. And just like happened last week, actually, when they came running back to the den. One lioness came and fetched all 9 of them, and they eventually sort of got tired, some, and split off and came back to the den, and she kind of hardly noticed, didn't really know what to do. Some went skedaddling off into a drainage line, another climbed himself a guarri tree and then suddenly found he was lost. So that's how cubs get lost from prides. I don't think the lionesses notice immediately. They do eventually notice. But would they notice if one was missing from all 9? I don't know. I'm not sure that they would. Now I'm most excited to be doing this because I haven't done it for a long time. But we're going to hand you over back to South Africa to my old friend Baron with a Birmingham.
Indeed, it is one of the big coalition males that we see in the area, and what a nice surprise. Now, remember I said to you earlier that I heard lions calling, and I think this is possibly one of the males that I heard. I said it was south of us, and we are on Chitwa at the moment, and look at that beautiful, beautiful male. He's out in the open clearings, and this is such a nice surprise. And it's nice to see one of these big males again. Now, we're actually not too far from that sighting of Tingana. Now, I wonder if this lion has possibly seen the leopard and if he's interested in the kill. Now, we're still a fair distance, but I'm very curious to see what will happen if this lion does see that leopard in a tree, or if he Maybe picks up the scent of the kill. Will he go? Will he try and climb the tree? I have seen lions try and do that before, where they try to climb a tree to get to a leopard kill. It's not something that happens often, but they will do it. You know, they're also very opportunistic, and if there's a free meal, they will do it. So I'm not sure, but I think we might still be a bit far. But this male is staring in the direction of that male leopard. We can't see it from where we are at the moment. But I think we're going to sit with this male for a while. We know that other male, or the male leopard, has got a lot of meat and some 2 kills in a tree. So I think he'll still be there a little bit later. We will go and have a look at him. But let's sit with this male and just see what he does. Now I'm just having a look. Is that belly? It's difficult to see with them lying down. Just trying to see if he's got a full belly or not. It's always wonderful to see big males around. Mary, you say it looks like he's from the barber. What a beautiful mane. It does almost look as if he's washed his mane. Possibly that bit of rain that we had may have helped clean it a little bit. Oh, cuckoo! It just flew off. Oh, no, that was interesting. I was thinking to myself, you know what, you can see the signs of summer are here. There's a lot of little green grass shoots and that sticking out already, and a lot of the birds have returned. I heard European bee-eaters this morning. We've seen warburgs, eagles, and there was a cuckoo that just called and flew off. I'm going to see if we can find it. Nice to see these cuckoos. Let's have a look quickly, Vim. I think he flew off. I didn't get a good glimpse. I just saw as it flew. I wonder if it wasn't the African cuckoo. Oh, now the lion's up. You see, everything's happening now. This is going to be interesting. Let's see where this male goes. That mane is looking especially golden this morning. I don't know, he looks like he's been cleaned, and I'm sure it's got something to do with the rain. Now he is looking in that direction and heading in that direction of where that leopard is with the kill. This could get very interesting. Hold on a second. I'm just going to reposition the vehicle for us. Film, is that okay? Do you want me to sit here? You're fine? Alright. Look at that. Oh, he is beautiful. Magnificent. Wonderful to see him walking across the clearing like this. There's a squirrel alarm calling at him at the moment. There's the alarm calling at the male. Now, I know you are asking how old I think this male lion is. Well, I think this male, Birmingham males, I think they're around 6 or 7 years old. So they're still in their prime. Probably still going to hang around for quite some time. Okay, let's quickly reposition. Oh, this is very exciting. I'm just going to turn around here quick and see. Now, I know there are some other vehicles with that leopard, so I'm not sure if he is in the tree at the moment. Let me just try radio the other guides quickly and let them know. Peter Verbyren. Just to give you an update, this male is now mobile in your direction. I'm just going to try reposition and see if I can't get a glimpse of that tree where Tingana is in. Look at the lapwings also getting a bit upset with the male walking past, with this male lion walking past. The crowned lapwings. Squirrel still alarm calling. Now there's a herd of impala out in the clearing too. They alarm calling. Now let's keep following him a bit. I might have to hang back, everyone, just because there are, as I said, there are some other vehicles with that leopard, so we don't want to put too much pressure on that sighting. I'll just hang back. Luckily for us, we've got the camera, so we can zoom in and get a bit close without the vehicle actually being there. That helps us, and that's a wonderful thing about being on a vehicle with the camera. As I said, there are a lot of impala out in the clearing. Alright, now I'm just going to see where this male moves, try and follow him for a little bit. Let's quickly head across back to Taylor and see what her lions are up to in the meantime.
Byron, it seems like you're having a wonderful welcome home, I suppose, because yes, we are your family and we're so happy to have you back. But yeah, our lions, well, it's quite interesting as to what's going on right now. As obviously the little ones have all hung back and the adults have gone off into the thicket, but I can't see the adults anymore. And there was one youngster that was sort of contact calling, obviously tried to follow the adults, and, well, is now coming back because obviously got no response from mom or auntie, and is going to head back towards the rest of the youngsters, and they're just going to hang around in the shade, probably play a little bit, although they seem to have been playing most of the morning. Now, unfortunately, the area that the Angamas love is it's a non-off-roading area, which doesn't help us, because ideally I want to go charging through those bushes over there to see what's happened. The lionesses basically walk from where we're sitting in the direction of the buffalo, but it's quite a big herd of buffalo. You can't see them. We will try and show you just now what we'll do. We'll turn around and I'll go around. But essentially, the buffalo there's a huge herd of them. Now, let's do that. Let's go back around. Just you can come with us. And there could be some youngsters, some very young buffalo around at the moment. There could be some sub-adults. I mean, ideally, this pride wants to take down, a little bit bumpy, a big buffalo. One little buffalo is not going to do it much good. It'll be a snack. There's so many mouths to feed here. There's also some elephants around. So let's go and check. We did a recon mission. We actually went all the way around. We couldn't find them. And then we got attacked by the biggest swarm of midges I've seen since this morning. But maybe they've shifted slightly. I'm just trying to work out which part of the herd they're going to go for. They're going to go for the top end, or they're going to go for the herd that's down at the back. Now, typically... Oh my goodness, let's very quickly jump back across into Byron's car. He's got something exciting to show you.
Now, look at this, everyone. Now, this is another male lion that was actually ahead of the one we were sitting with, and he has climbed into the tree to steal the kill from that male leopard. I'm not sure where the leopard is at the moment. Haven't seen the leopard. But this has just happened. The other male is still moving towards him. Now, I think the male that we saw was in Suku. Now, this is a different one. As I said, lions are opportunistic. They will climb trees to steal kills from leopards if they are able to. It's not easy for a lion to get up a tree like a leopard can. But look at that. Isn't this amazing? Wow, what a start. Just got back to Djuma, and look at this. It's all happening here at the moment. This is really... Now, I wonder if that lion will try to bring that kill down, perhaps. The thing is, though, if it brings it down, it will then have to compete with his brother, and they will most likely fight over that kill. This is really, really fascinating. Excuse me a second. Go ahead. Copy, don't worry, there's no rush, no problem. Enjoy. No problem, Peter, enjoy, thank you. I'm just listening to one of the other guides, just trying to see if we know where the where that leopard has gone, but it doesn't. So just no sign of that leopard at the moment. Now this is really amazing, because that's quite a large, looks like a marula tree. So that is a marula tree that lion is up in. Now the other one, it's quite thick at the moment through the bottom of the tree, so that other lion, I think, is just or is just standing at the bottom of the tree. Now, some of our Facebook Live viewers have just joined us for this really amazing sighting. We've been following a male lion, and he has found a kill in a tree that was hoisted by a leopard. And lions are opportunistic, so these lions have actually, they're two males now, one at the bottom of the tree, at the base of the tree, and this male has climbed right up into this marula to get the kill. This is unusual. We don't often see that from lions down in this area in South Africa. We are on Djuma Game Reserve down in the southeastern part of South Africa, or actually northeastern part of South Africa in the greater Kruger. Fascinating behavior. Listen everyone, we might hear the lion. I just heard one or two contact calls by the other male. I think he is at the bottom of the tree. It is a bit thicker. We'll try and move closer at some point and see if we can get a better view of it. Oh, Proud Cat Mama, you were asking, would the leopard that killed this impala, would he try and fight the lions? Now, the male leopard that killed his impala, he is Tingana, the big dominant male leopard in this area. Really beautiful male leopard. And you know what, Proud Cat Mama, there is not a chance that this leopard would try to fight these lions for that kill or protect his kill. The lions are far too big and far too powerful. He wouldn't stand a chance against these males. Excuse me a second. Go ahead. Okay, copy. I'll come around that side. We can sit a bit further back, so don't worry. Maybe I'll sit on the other side of the airstrip. Okay, I'm just going to move for us, everyone. You see, we kind of right through here. Now, we might get a better view of these lions up in the tree. I wonder if the other one isn't going to get down. Or get up, rather. Now, I wonder what's happened to that leopard. I'm not sure. I haven't seen the leopard yet. I don't know if he was just chased off by the lions, or if he's hiding in the tree. Let's have a look. look at this. Look at this. There's a lovely view of him. Can you get him there, Viam? Is that alright? Look at that. So this one male is still up in the tree, trying to get that carcass. Now, what I find fascinating, I'll tell you what's happened here, is there are actually 2 impala kills. Now, for those of you who were watching yesterday, Tristan was with this male leopard, and he killed 2 impala, and he hoisted both of them into this marula, which is amazing. Again, the leopards are very opportunistic, so even if they have made a kill, if there's a chance of killing another impala, they will take it and they will hoist that kill into the tree too. But unfortunately, these lions have now spotted these kills, and they've decided to climb up and try and get the kills out of the tree and feed on it. I don't know where the other male is. I can't see him for the moment. MKL, sorry, I can see the male. He's lying down just off to the left. There he is. Straight through there. There's the other male. He can't get up into the tree at the moment with the brother there, so he'll possibly just wait, and hopefully that male will pull one of the kills down so that this one can feed on it. Now, MKL, you were asking what percentage of leopard kills are stolen by lions, and not a huge percentage at all. After they're hoisted, so after they kill. Now, I don't think it's a big percentage at all. It really isn't. I think, you know what? I think in all my guiding experience, I've seen lions maybe 4 or 5 times jump into a tree to steal a leopard kill. But it probably happens more than that, but still, it's a very low percentage. Usually leopards are able to hoist into trees that lions would struggle to climb. But it's amazing to see this male lion standing, holding on tight, feeding on this impala kill. And you can actually see he's feeding on the impala kill that's actually mostly intact. Not much of that impala has been fed on. And just in front of it, the kill that we can see clearly, that leopard's just about devoured most of that kill. Hashem Sang, you asked how high up in the tree is that lion. Now, he looks like he's at least 2.5 meters up. It's quite a large marula. Really fascinating. Wow. And then you said it'll be fun watching the lion try to come down this tree. This is fascinating, really fascinating. I mean, you almost lost for words in sightings like this because there's so much going on. Not sure, as I said, I don't know where that leopard has gone. He has disappeared. But these lions have found the kill. So I'm assuming that leopard got out of the area very, very quickly to avoid these lions. Can you hear the lion chewing actually? Pardon?
I heard the Ghana saw.
Oh, did you? Ah. VM says he just heard, it sounded like Tingana give a bit of a roar, or that sawing sound that the male leopards give, the territorial call. Olga, you were saying, wouldn't it be easier for this lion to pull the kill out of the tree and feed on the ground? Most definitely it would be. But I don't know. I think he's being clever. And the reason I say that is because he's feeding up in the tree so that he doesn't have to share with his brother. That's why he's feeding up there. Wow, you can see bits of blood dripping from his mouth there. He's definitely just opened that kill. I think it's quite a fresh kill. I do apologize. In all this excitement, I've been having a look at the trees around here, and it's not a marula. I think it's a scotia that he's hoisted the tree in. So if some of you were saying Byron said marula, I apologize. It's a scotia. This is fascinating. Well, I think Tristan might be a bit jealous. Can't wait to tell Tristan when we get back this morning. And Janice, you asked, will a hyena ever climb a tree to steal a kill? No. Hyenas do not climb trees. They can't. Their claw and foot structure do not support them enough to be able to climb trees. So that's mainly why the leopards hoist their kills, is to keep them out of reach of the hyena. And it's such a beautiful morning too, clear blue skies. And starting to warm up a little bit. I think it's going to be a warm day. It was quite fresh this morning, quite cool. And I also think maybe that's why these lions are still moving around a lot, is because there's still it's still quite cool. So that's why they were most likely looking for food. And I don't know if they picked up on the scent of these kills, or if they just saw them in the tree. Now their eyesight is very, very good. But it's amazing. You know, I know up in the Mara, the team have been seeing some lions sleeping up in the trees from time to time to avoid a lot of those flies, those biting flies, the tsetse fly. Those tsetse flies. But here we don't see it very often. And now and then you might get young lions climbing trees and being a bit playful. I've seen that before. But to see a big male like this up in a tree because he's stealing a kill of an impala is very impressive. So he's stealing the kill of a leopard, an impala kill. Now I can hear Monkey's alarm calling. It sounds like down towards Chitwa Dam. And that would make sense because that's where VM said he heard that sound of the leopard coming from. So I wouldn't be surprised if this male leopard has decided to head down there for a drink, possibly. But this is just such an amazing sighting. We're going to sit here and enjoy this for a bit.